What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new Jakks specific Sonic Prime Boss Cage Maze set. This thing includes three 2.5-inch Sonic Prime figures, a green prism shard, and then a display base. So let's go over the packaging real quick. So again, you can see everything that's included here in the front view and window. But here is the top of the packaging, which just has, Sonic Prime up there. And then here is the bottom. Here is this side right here that just has an image of Sonic and then the Sonic Prime logo. And then we also got this side right here. And then here is the back, which pretty much just shows everything that's included here. And then we do got some pictures down here. And yeah, that is pretty much how the packaging is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so here's everything out of the packaging right here. So I actually want to start off with the accessories. So this is what you're going to get here. So as you can see, we are getting the green shard, and then this base right here for the shard, which is pretty much a tree stump. You can see like the branches sculpted on here, which doesn't really look that bad. I think this looks decent. And then this is how the top right here looks, and then the bottom right there, as you can see. And then we have the green shard. Oops. But yeah, we have the green shard right here. And then what's also cool is, remember, we do have the peg holes underneath these shards, just like we had with the other shards. Well, this one actually had pegs, but this one also had a peg hole. So what's really cool is that you actually can connect these, and I'll try my best to do this on camera. But it looks like for the red one, it looks like I can put this one here, and then the green one, it looks like I can, oops, didn't mean to drop that, but it looks like I can put it here. But I think it's probably best if I put the green one in first, because it kind of has like a divot to kind of fit. So if I put the green one like right here, and then the red one, I'd say right here. There you go. Yeah, so that actually looks a lot better. But yeah, you can see that they do look really nice when they're connected. And then we do have one more here. So remember, the other pack has two more shards. So one's going to go here, and I guess the other one's going to connect with the other shard. I'm not too sure. But we do have one more peg here for one of the shards. But yeah, so far this actually looks really nice. So yeah, I do like that. So I'm going to put this over here along with the base right there. Now let's look at the figures. So here is the Boss Cage Maze Sonic. You can see he has the claws here for the gloves. They don't really look that great though. You can see how they're kind of like not like as straight, but these are actually okay. And then here's like the bottom of the shoes right there. So remember, Boss Cage Maze Sonic and Gnarly, they already had their 5-inch figures, but Manji didn't, unfortunately. At least not yet, I guess. But here's Sonic. He looks kind of awkward in a way. I think it's just because his eyes are just really small. Maybe that's just what it is, but also because he kind of stands a little awkward too in a way. I don't know. But yeah, articulation is going to be the same with these guys. You have a rotation to the head, for rotation to the arms, then a hinge to the shoulder, and then the legs can kick forward and back. So forward about there, and then just back about there. And yeah, pretty much that. The basic articulation for these figures. And then here is Gnarly. Gnarly doesn't look too bad. I like how this one's more expressive than the 5-inch one. And the paint job's not too bad on this guy. And then like these lines or paint on his quills, along with the legs too. So it doesn't look too bad. I think Gnarly actually has some great figures. In articulation, you can move the head. It's the same way where you have to like kind of maneuver around with the arms, but you can still move the head. Of course the quills will be in the way. And if you want to get a hinge out of the shoulder, it's the same way where you have to move the head and get that hinge out of the shoulder right there. But you still can move it up and down, and then move the legs back and forth, as you can see. So yeah, not too bad. I think this Gnarly is actually pretty decent. And then here is a Manji right here. Manji doesn't look too bad either. The I think it's just kind of weird with the mouth, just because it's like all white. I think that's probably why it looks weird. But you can see Manji's teeth. It's just that the teeth is white, but then like the inside of the mouth is also white too. That's probably what's throwing it off. But the paint job on Manji doesn't really look too bad. I kind of like the mohawk style going on here. But overall, it's not too bad. And you can like use the tails to have Manji, you know, stand on its own. Actually, Gnarly, well, yeah, Gnarly and Manji, they don't really have a hard time standing. This Sonic's kind of weird because you have to like bend, you know, the figure a little forward to get it to stand. But yeah, Manji doesn't really look too bad. Really nice paint job on this guy. Bottom of the shoes. And you know, articulation, you can't rotate the tails because they're just on a ball peg, so you know you can just pop them off. If I can try to, there you go, yeah, so you can just pop them off. And I'm sure you can probably throw these tails on, well, yeah, you can pretty much throw these tails, you know, with the other tails because they're all, you know, they're all like interchangeable. But I don't believe they're going to match. I don't think they're all like the exact same yellow, but you can like rotate the head, rotation to the arm, hinge to the shoulder. If I can try to get that shoulder up, yep, there you go. And then the legs can kick forward and then back right there. I think I accidentally, yeah, I did. I accidentally popped the tails off. But yeah, Manji doesn't really look too bad. I would say Manji and Gnarly are probably the best looking ones. Sonic just looks kind of odd though, because I'll bring them all, you know, close right here. Like, they don't really look too bad in my opinion. I think it's just that for Sonic, maybe the eyes just look too small. I don't know. And he kind of looks a little like funny looking too in a way. Okay, and now for some comparisons, but here's the Boss Cage Maze Sonic next to some other 2.5-inch Sonic figures. And you know, I completely forgot that the No Place Sonic figure, they made that figure a lot bigger than the other ones. I think Rouge was like taller too. It was kind of weird, honestly. But I think Sales was okay in that set. But you know, if you want to put all these together, just know that No Place Sonic is going to be a lot bigger than the rest. Now here's a comparison for Manji. So we have 9 Sales and then the Modern Tails figure. And then here is your Gnarly Knuckles figure comparison. Now we don't really have a Renegade Knucks figure by Jakks in this scale, but you know, if you still have the one from PMI, that one can still work with this. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this review on the Jakks specific Sonic Prime Boss Cage Maze set. I will say the Gnarly Knuckles and Manji Tails figures do look a little bit better than the promo shots that were first revealed when I talked about this set. However, let me know what are your thoughts on these in the comments down below. If you want to know where I picked this up, I was able to find this on Amazon. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Until then, take care, my friends.